How would you feel if I was like, I identify as Nigerian? Like, that's what's in my heart. I'm Nigerian as
I'll be like, good for you, celebrate my culture. Literally, I wouldn't give a shit.
You would make fun of me.
Yeah, I probably would, but I wouldn't then.
So I'm Sojourn.
And I'm Simi. I'm from London, England, UK, Dartford, Kent, whichever one you want to pick.
And I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. We were having a conversation, as we do, where we just, you know, kind of get on a little bit of a rant and like just chatting shit, right?
Yeah.
We're chatting shit.
Stop it.
We were chatting shit.
She's really bad at this. Her British accent is not.
My British accent is quite good, exactly. I know it's bad.
That was.
Okay. My bad. Okay, and apparently I'm not black.
Okay.
Alright,
Okay. I didn't say that she wasn't black. I just said that there are a lot of things probably mixed into her race. How can you disagree with that?
Let's first start off on like why we even got to this point.
Yeah, let's do that.
People will see me and they'll be like, oh, where are you from? I'll be like, oh, I'm from America. And they'll be like, okay, but where are you really from? And then I'm like, I'm an African American, which is a thing in and of itself. It's not African, it's not Caribbean, it's African American. But if you were to ask a Caribbean person, yes, I'm bringing this up.
Yeah, bring it up.
Where are they from?
I'm not Caribbean, by the way. I'm Nigerian, full straight through Nigerian. Okay, carry on.
Like through and through, just so you know, like all the way black, unlike this bitch over here. Okay.
Carry on.
If I say that I'm an African American or I'm a black American, it's not enough. There needs to be more. And then also if I say that I'm just black, it's like twofold. It's like I'm not black enough to just be like full on black, but like I'm not American enough to just be African American.
Yeah, like I personally, and obviously this is your experience and stuff, I don't disagree with the concept of being African American. I do think there is a whole new culture that has adapted there because of, you know, changes in location and geography and all those things. And so like, yes, you don't necessarily have the African culture, which I would say that I personally do because, you know, my family is still very much like Nigerian and we still go there, whatever. But African American in itself is a culture. I agree with that, absolutely. However, I will say this. Okay. Personally, in my opinion, I think it really depends on how you're classifying what is it that you use to define what is black and what is not black. If you're doing it based purely on color, in my opinion, in my opinion, I would say that you look mixed. I wouldn't say that you look like fully. And like this is the discussion that we had earlier, right? And I was saying that if you're basing being black on prejudice, like then it becomes a different conversation because in this country, in the UK, which we are currently in, so it's probably more valid than American, like, you know, news or whatever, a whole range of different people. And if you don't look black, like as in when I'm saying black, I mean like, not just like you got a little tan, I'm talking like, if you don't look black, the likelihood that you're going to face any prejudice is small in this country. I don't know about America. I don't know.
So in America, the thing is, we had the one drop rule. I have a friend, biologically, she's mixed, okay? However, to me, as a black person, she is black because black in America is not only a skin color, but it's also a culture. When Simi saw her, she said, well, yeah, you can tell she has a tan, but I would never identify her as being black. But in America, not just me as a black person knowing what a mixed person looks like, white people would also identify her as being black.
In America.
In America, because they would recognize that there is black ancestry in her. And we got pulled over one time, and on the ticket, they immediately wrote her race as being black.
So I just think that's evidence that in America they see color a lot more. Because here, like the girl we saw, I personally wouldn't identify her as being black, but she doesn't look like she's black. So all I'm saying is that here in this country, if she was here, she wouldn't necessarily face the same prejudice that you would as a person who is very evidently black. Like there's a big like there is definitely more prejudice, I would say, personally from my opinion, against people who are darker, who are of a darker nature. So it's kind of like if you imagine people on a spectrum, people who sort of cross a certain line, who are considered as you, are more likely to face prejudice than those who are kind of like, oh, you could probably be Italian, or you could be Spanish, or you have a slight tan. And then we got into a bigger situation. Rachel flipping Dolezal. And I don't disagree with that.
You tried to also say that she obviously has some black in her somewhere down the line.
She probably does. Like
She
most people
does
do. Like, not being
not.
funny. But Americans mix through and through. Only God knows. But what I'm saying is that whether she does or she doesn't, the fact is, this is a woman who says she identified as a black woman. Everyone puts so much like, you know, we're like, oh my God, how could she do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, we won't go into the whole story.
How would you feel if I was like, I identify as Nigerian? Like, that's what's in my heart.
I'll be like, good for you. Celebrate my culture. Literally, I wouldn't give a shit.
You would make fun of me.
Yeah, I probably would, but I wouldn't then, like, you know, go out of my way to kind of ruin your whole life. My point is this: I'm not arguing against or for Rachel Dolezal. I don't really care about that. What I am saying is that this is a woman who identifies as black, but to me does not look black. When I see people who look tan to me, they do not look black. All I'm seeing is another Rachel Dolezal. You're just someone who doesn't look black, so doesn't necessarily face that prejudice. In America, you may face that prejudice. I do not know America. I do not live in America. I have never lived in America.
But there is a reason.
In this country, you would not.
I think Rachel Dolezal is actually a good example in the sense that for a light-skinned black person who is as light as Rachel Dolezal, the fact that she could pass as black, both with white people and black people, will let you know that there is an identity that is associated with being black, and it doesn't have anything to do with just your skin color.
It depends on what you're determining about. Is it based on color or is it based on the one drop rule? Because if you're saying it's based on the one drop rule, which I didn't know about this one drop rule, but if you're saying it's based on this rule, which is about like your culture and how you know in the past historically your ancestors would have faced this kind of racism, then what you're saying is that you're basing color, so race, on prejudice. And if as someone who considers himself as black, but you don't look black to the outward person, then can you really call yourself black if you're not really facing the prejudice of a black person? That's the question I'm asking.
Okay, so
it's colorism all through and through again. Like darker people tend, not always, but tend to face a certain level of like more abhorrence from different people, whereas the lighter you are, the kind of better things are for you. Not for everyone, but it like we can't deny that colorism does exist. I think if anyone tries to deny that, then you're clearly just ignorant. But I would say this: mixed race people do face a certain level of prejudice, because at the end of the day, as you said before, if you ain't white, you ain't right. Maybe that's, you know, that's a prejudice that certain people have. However, what I would say is that if you look white, then you can also be considered right. There's no way to say that, oh, you know, your parents.
I think that's
black,
where the biggest
like,
thing is too, because what you consider to look white is quite different from what I think myself.
Yeah, and I think we said
and
this from the beginning. Not most people, most American people.
That's
most
what the majority
American
of
people. Really?
In the Western world, yeah.
No, well, in Africa, that's not the fact. You know,
Yeah.
Like the world is
Fair.
bigger than America. I'm just saying.
Slightly, but only slightly. But so the main reason why I wanted to make this was because I feel like I experienced the whole black experience. Do you not feel that way?
Yeah, I don't. I never said that you weren't black.
No.
I said that you were mixed. She doesn't like that, but I'm going to keep saying it. I feel like people who are a lighter brown do experience like racism, prejudice and all those things. I don't disagree with that. However, what I will say is this: if you are someone who considers yourself as black but you appear to be white, you cannot deny that there are certain privileges that you will be allowed. Like, it's that simple, like, because of the fact that you look the way you do.
According to me, based on the fact of the way I look versus the way that another full through and through black person.
In the UK, yes, absolutely. In the UK, people who are mixed, who are considered a slightly lighter, who would be assumed to have a black parent and a white parent, are given certain privileges over black people, absolutely. Yeah. Like, as in, that's not to say you won't face any prejudice, you will, but you probably would face maybe slightly less for different races. And the only way truly you're going to face black prejudice is if you look a certain way, and that is if you look black, unfortunately. Like, that's like, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, we'll probably talk about some more, yeah, and you'll get to hear more of our opinions.